We're live.
We're live.
That was easy.
Where's the easy button? Welcome back to Blissfully.
Well, we don't have no viewers yet.
Oh, okay.
We let a cut. See if anybody comes in before we get started. Probably shouldn't do that.
You don't want to make it?
It's the wrong website.
You don't want to do kisses?
700 people.
That'd be great.
Would it? I'm nervous. Well, I guess we can get started because it'll be uploaded, but I was kind of hoping to let a few people come in, but
I mean, we can wait a few minutes.
Waiting on you guys. All right. Where's Pap and where's
Tell me about your day.
our millions
Oh, wait, tell me about your day.
and millions of fans? My day was boring. I sat at my desk most of the day because I've been sick.
Yeah. We've both been feeling like crap.
I don't think I went anywhere. I didn't go to any schools.
Oh, I never went to another school,
Mm-mm. And your day was more exciting, though.
My day was more exciting. And I didn't need that medication, so I'm glad I was able to give you that when I got home.
Cold medicine. But you bought a wedding dress today.
I did. I bought my wedding dress today. I did not expect to find my wedding dress today, but Carolina Bridal World, they did it.
They did it.
And they stayed within my budget.
Just make a commercial for them.
I should. Hashtag them and everything.
All right. Well, let's just go ahead and get started. So,
okay. Well, welcome to the Blissfully Blended podcast. When you're watching it, we're happy that you're here when you're watching it. This is Randall.
This is Nicole.
Huh?
Oh, it's my turn.
Oh, I did.
So today we're talking about how we were raised, our upbringing, the effects that had on our relationships with each other and others, and exes, and the whole shebang's in here, and where our faith was and is, and how that helps us. Also, a big portion of parenting will be in here because that's the big part of being blended. Yep. You have to parent. Let's see. Looking back, the homes that built us before we were shaped by two totally different families. Let's talk a little about what home looked like growing up. Wah, wah.
Who should go first?
What kind of home did you grow up in? Strict, relaxed, faith-filled, traditional, etc. I'll let you go first. I just talked.
I feel like mine was, I want to say, I guess it was strictest, traditionalist, very faith-filled. I went to Catholic school. We went to church every Sunday. My dad was a pretty religious man. And a lot of stuff was based around our religion, definitely. The strictness thing kind of fell off a little bit after my dad died, though. So it was like strict, and then, oh, my mom is grieving. I'm doing whatever I want because I'm also grieving, and I'm a disruptive teenager. So it went a little haywire for a moment there. But for the most part, like even after my dad died, I still went to church for a little bit. I got my confirmation, like still pretty strict considering like other family connections that we had. But what about you? Oh, pause. This might get a little heavy. Just letting you know. All right, thanks. And go.
So mine was, what examples did they give? Strict's an understatement. Definitely wasn't relaxed, faith-filled, traditional, or etc. So my mother left when I was 4 and my sister was 8. And I really wish she was in here because she could add to this conversation. But I was 4, she was 8. We then lived with my dad, who was in all this trouble and trouble with the law and all that. And so we got to move in with my grandparents. So that's where I was raised, with my grandparents, who I was very close to prior to moving in with them. I always wanted to be at my grandparents' house. And then found out like how violent and crazy my grandmother could be. My grandfather, we had a pretty good relationship. We still talk occasionally. He's still living. My grandmother has recently passed, but she was very abusive, and verbally and physically. And I'd say that what was the second part of that? What kind of did you grow up in? Okay, yeah, and so it was always like a childhood of walking on eggshells, and yeah, it was a pretty scary upbringing. We'll get more into like how that shaped everything else, but yeah, it was very strict, I guess you could say. But the strictness wasn't like say your dad was of the Catholic faith, so you knew he expects, you see his expectations. This was like you didn't know when you might do something right or you might do something wrong, or you would like it was just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You could catch a smack across the face, and you're like, "What I did?" So that was my upbringing.
Some of the other questions are: what values or lessons did your parents or guardians emphasize the most? What do you think they got right? And what do you think you had to unlearn later in life? What did my parents emphasize the most? So religion was really important. So that was emphasized a lot. Family was very emphasized. Like, your family is important. You do for them. You're there for them. Because my mom and dad relied on family a lot, especially my grandparents. I remember when I was being raised, like, grandparents were always the babysitters. They always took care of us certain days of the week. So rely a lot on family. That was a big one. What do I think they got right? I mean, faith was important. I think they got that right. Because even though I strayed, I came back. And I do think that the emphasis on family it's a big thing. Family is really important. Especially this year, there's just been a lot of different things going on with family and learning about new family and making new connections. And also, just like realizing that family doesn't necessarily mean blood either. It's who you really feel comfort with. And things that I need to unlearn or have had to unlearn later in life. So I don't think I had to unlearn this. I already knew I didn't like it. But like some of that strictness came along with, like a slap across the face and things like that. And I was like, I'm not going to hit my kids. So far, winning. I guess to some extent had to upkeep a home. I know it sounds a little weird to say, but I've had to relearn or teach myself, okay, like what is appropriate when it comes to cleanliness and like what's my level of clean and what do I want, and things like that. Because like, when somebody dies, it changes the direction of your family huge in a big way. And it's doesn't matter if it's something that you knew was coming. It still changes a lot, and things happen, and people, have to find their own way to grieve, and it can be really hard. So things changed, and I realized really quickly there are some things that I needed to change for myself as well. So yeah, pretty much those things, I think.
So for me, I see that my sister has jumped in.
Oh, great.
Says it was scary being a kid there. It was just so strange when you become an adult and you have children of your own. It only gets more confusing because you don't understand how somebody could do. There had to be some mental illness there. Because it was, I mean, we easily could have been killed in that house. I mean, it was bad. So it says, what lessons did your parents emphasize the most? Didn't really have lessons from grandmother. I mean, there was lessons like it's the opposite with her. It was like the house had to be super clean. But I can remember being a kid and like she would expect us to get up like on the weekends and clean. But if we made noise that woke her up, we would be doomed. Not to mention we didn't want to wake her up anyway and start our day with her. So we would have to I can remember me and my sister like washing dishes and handing them off to dry them, and we're trying to be like super quiet so she doesn't wake up. I can remember us coughing in pillows so it wouldn't wake her up if we had to cough or something. It was horrendous. But I'd say lessons from my grandfather was more memorable anyway. He would, for me, he would, in the summers I'd work with him. So he taught me the importance of working and making money and taking care of your family and those things. Faith was my thing, oddly enough, when I was a kid. Like, I found that on my own. And my grandmother, I can remember times where she would use church as a punishment. Like, so if I was in trouble, she wouldn't let me go to church on Sunday. And she used that as a punishment. So the rest of the family didn't have faith. I had like a great aunt, so like my grandmother's sister, that got me into church, and she meant a lot to me. So I learned all my faith lessons from her in that church growing up. What do I think that they got right? I don't think my grandmother got anything right. Anything that she would have done in kindness or would have done right would have been destroyed by all that she did wrong. But my grandfather, I'd say he showed up. He was there. I think back, he was like in his 50s when we came to live there, and he never missed a ball game. He would throw ball, like practice catch with me and all that in the yard when I was playing baseball as a kid. I got older and I was playing music in bars, and I can remember seeing him sitting in the bar watching me sing. He just showed up. I didn't even know he was going to be there. Showed up to like wrestling matches and stuff. So I would say that those lessons like that, he did that right, and it taught me how to be a father. There's certainly, as we go into what I had to unlearn, certainly some things that wasn't done right. I grew up in a small southern town by grandparents that were raised in the whatevers. So there was racism and hatred towards people, and all that I had to unlearn. That, they would have you scared of people. And then you got out as an adult and you're like, well, wait, this isn't as bad as what, they made it out to be. Certainly, like you said, I would never lay my hands on my kids. And that's one of the crazy things about being a parent. I found out that you don't have to. And maybe that's just a dad thing, because I've heard other people say it, but like, I can say, hey, look at me. and give them the dad face, and they're like, ooh, and I've never put a hand on my kids. So yeah, certainly I wouldn't smack a kid across the face or jerk them around. Far worse what we went through. The faith tie-in for this says, as Christians, we know Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. But sometimes the way we should go and the way we were raised don't always line up perfectly. Let's talk about how we've learned to bridge that gap. So like what you were saying, you grew up in faith. I didn't. I grew up in faith, but it was my own choice. So I went to church. There wasn't anybody like holding me accountable to it. So you were raised up in it so you could return to it if you went astray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the heck was going on with me, but somehow God found me in all that mess. I'm pretty happy about that. When upbringings collide, bring two worlds together. It wants us to talk about us being together and how we handle money, discipline, or even dinner time. Share a funny or memorable story about clashing habits or expectations early in the relationship.
So, we're still really new.
Not really new.
We're still pretty new. So funny or memorable story about clashing habits or expectations. It wasn't necessarily a clash, but remember when we were in Connecticut for my friend's funeral?
Mm-hmm.
I thought, you know what, maybe we'll just miss church on Sunday. We were technically in church on Saturday. Because of our journey, it was a lot of driving. Yeah. But Randall really had his heart set on making sure that we were home on time to go to church. So, I was like, okay, we'll do it. And we did. It was a rough drive back home.
Worth it.
But, I wouldn't have done that otherwise. But
that's us as humans. Like, my thought process with that was, first off, we were in church on Saturday for a funeral.
Yeah.
And it was also a Catholic church, which isn't my upbringing. So it was very different for me. So it wasn't church, like it wasn't, they weren't giving you God, you were having a funeral. But we're going to get into it later with like our exes and this and that. But where you can go astray is if you miss one Sunday, it starts the following Sunday, we'd be like, well, we had that traveling last week and we're tired. I ain't really feeling good. It's just, maybe we skip this one and you skip another and another. Next thing you know, you're out of church. I talked to a friend that's new in a relationship the other day, and this is if they get married, it'll be their first marriage or whatever. So they don't have kids or anything, but him and I were on the same page at one point talking about like faith and how important it is in a relationship. And so he was doing the same thing we were doing, like don't miss a Sunday, going to church every Sunday. All that. I asked him the other day because he told me something about going to a soccer game Sunday. I said, y'all still going to church? He's like, nah, we haven't been in several weeks. And I'm like, that's not good. Because faith does hold your relationship together. For us, or for me, I know that I'll start slacking and I'm a better person in church than I would be outside of church. So we've been going there since Easter Sunday, and we have not missed a service. Even
the ones that we do virtual, which is great. I love that they offer that. Like every service is also live on there.
So they have 3 services on Sunday, and all 3 are live streams. So you have no excuse. If somebody is sick, if a kid's sick,
It's typical for our
which
house.
is what we did. So that's like coming back from Connecticut. We could have probably stayed and watched a live stream. The reason I wanted to come back to Connecticut and do that,
Come back to North Carolina.
Come back to North Carolina from Connecticut, was Waylon's going to church with us.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want him to miss a Sunday, because then he could start saying, well, I don't feel like going. And so.
And he's at that age, it's important to continue to encourage it.
As for me in this house,
we serve
the Lord. No matter what's going on, we're going to make it to church. Funny or memorable story for me about clashing habits or expectations early in the marriage.
Is it how I do bills?
No, how you do bills, which we didn't go over that, and it listed that, so we can roll back to that. But expectations.
Tell me more.
I think more of the habits. With like, I know you have more of a habit of like a normal bedtime, and
I try, but it's so hard.
But when I say normal, I mean sometime between when we were first dating, we were in bed by like 9, but sometime between like 10 and 10:15, she's gonna be in bed by 10 o'clock. If it's 11, things have went way off track. And for me,
I still will have Maddie stuff to do though.
For me, I fight sleep. I got PTSD from that lovely upbringing I was telling you guys about. And so I have night terrors and stuff. And so I avoid sleep. So prior to her, I would be up all hours of the night. Even if I had to work the next day, I would doze off, catch 2 hours, wake up, stay awake for 3 hours, sleep another hour. Now I go to bed when she does, and I just wake up all those times. and it's we're working on it. So I guess that was a habit that turned out to be good. Other habits that are funny. I think the cheese wrapper thing's funny.
I have a habit of like opening something and just like leaving the wrapper out, even though the trash can's literally right there.
and that this didn't carry over from my upbringing, where my grandmother was super clean, because she can tell you where I was living when we met wasn't like, wow, you could take a white glove to this, but
thank God. Thank you.
Yeah, that actually was an expectation. It turned out good too, but but I do, like, my kids so often will cut the top off of the cereal bag or whatever and leave it laying there. And so it's a pet peeve. And so then when I met her, I think today I picked up 2 sliced cheese wrappers, a plastic knife, and 2 cheese sticks. She eats a lot of cheese.
I love me some cheese. Okay. All right.
So yeah, I mean, or like making Maddie meds. Wash your hands, dry it on paper towel. Paper towel goes right there. Boom, and you're gone. And I'm like, but the paper towel's still right there.
Sorry.
But I don't get mad about that. And that is like where you said, thank God. Neither of us are like over the top, gonna yell and scream and argue about these house things and all that. We just take care of it when we can. We understand the other one's got to work, as long as neither of us is just like on easy street.
Yeah.
Which never happens for either of us.
Yeah, there's always something.
What was one area where your backgrounds really caused tension? Wah, wah. And it's your turn to talk. That would suck. Sucks to be you on that one.
Oh, jeez. I think the first time I think I ever noticed this, and then we talk a lot about it, which is great, because talking through stuff helps us continue to like improve our relationship and improve our what's it called? I'm thinking of security with each other. But friendships like how I am with some of my girlfriends. Some of that was a concern for him. And we had been talking for several hours about it one night until like 2, 3 in the morning. And I think it was like a weeknight.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the end result of that was something more calming for you or had more understanding.
Well, so the thing with me, when something don't add up, it's got to add up. It's got to make sense to me. It's a weird way I'm wired, and so I will talk to you till I'm blue in the face until what you just said makes sense to me. And yeah, I don't know, like, because that sounds very red flaggy, and I guess it probably was.
But the end result of that, like you even said it, was that you just had some
without context,
insecurity.
It's hard to understand, but there was a particular issue, and I was weird about it, and I just had, I don't know, some insecurities. I've been hey, geez, when you talk about like you gotta walk with grace when you talk about exes and stuff, but I was put through the ringer in marriage, and on my first marriage, and so some things like that scare me because I just need to know, like, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Everybody's safe and sober on prom night, and so yeah, where the backgrounds really cause tension for me.
Oh wait, beer and wine at the wedding.
Well, I was fine with beer and wine. That also is related to the same thing. But I would be fine with a dry wedding. I'm not paying a bunch of money for you to have a good time. I'm paying a bunch of money for us to get married and to look great and have the best day of our life. And I think it's like you get married in 15 minutes, the reception comes, and everybody's like, getting drunk. And I'm like, that's not here. Not right here, partner, And so we're doing beer and wine.
I'm not going to have any hard liquor.
No liquor. So that was our compromise.
It's a good compromise.
I don't think there was tension there. There was definitely a harder discussion there.
Yeah.
Because
I was like, no, we're going to have.
And I was like, no, we're not.
We're going to have beer and wine. We're going to have something. And then you finally were like, we're going to have beer and wine. And I was like, yeah.
Just beer and wine. Anybody?
I even had some champagne today. Okay. Because I picked out my dress and they gave me champagne.
Right. That's all.
It was great. It was nice. It's been a while since I had champagne.
What was one area of your background that really caused tension? I'm
listening.
I would say the biggest for me, I don't know if I call it tension, but it was definitely, I was a little hesitant. It was the differences in our faiths.
Yeah.
That's a big deal for me. It was definitely a big deal for me going back into a new relationship. I wanted to make sure, faith was a big part and was the foundation of what I was trying to build. And along came this Catholic girl. And so the Catholic things, listen.
Okay.
Love me some Catholics. They're good Christian people. It's just, as you see now, night and day difference in like the worship and the way they do things.
So different
from, regular church to Catholic church. They're very different. But what was cool was like, I have a pretty strong background in church and stuff, and worked in churches and ministries and youth pastor and worship leader, and I've preached and all this stuff. And it's not like I could just up and join the Catholic Church. I mean, I could, but
you could.
No, thank you.
Learn how to play that organ.
Yeah. but you were pretty open to like checking out church. We even tried a church before this one we're at now that we love, where there was like flag dancers and stuff, and we were like, oh boy.
We were like, this is not it.
It was great because her coming from a Catholic church, like the guy did the I feel God's telling me somebody's esophagus is. So who in here's esophagus is messed up?
That stuff does not happen in the Catholic Church.
No, that's what I'm saying. So you're in there like, what is happening?
This? I was like, we need to bounce.
Of course, I was in there like, what is this?
Thank goodness. Even Waylon was like, let's get out of here.
That was a great time. You know, it's great. That particular church, which I won't name, but I wanted to go to that church for years. Because it was like right down the street from multiple places I lived. And I just never checked it out. When we finally did, I was like, ruh-roh.
We went, we saw, we left.
Yeah. We stayed for the service.
We did. They were even offering like cake and stuff after, and we were like, let's go.
I was actually trying to go get some cake. We've already sat with the crazies this long.
Oh, gosh.
How did your faith help you work through those differences? Well, I mean, what I just said is pretty simple. I mean, the Catholic faith, the Christian faith, same thing. They just worship differently. So as far as that tension I was worried about, the faith was the whole thing. It was just finding the right fit for us, like the right church. That got all that fixed for us. And
because you were also raised differently. You weren't raised in a non-denominational.
Oh no, I was raised Pentecostal. People barking and speaking in tongues.
Lot.
Yeah, it was great. My sister's in here. Do you remember a Sunday? The pastor was preaching. We were on the front row, and you weren't paying attention. And he said, people want to call us Bible thumpers. Like we're going to walk around and just smack you on the head. And he took his Bible and smacked my sister in the head with the Bible.
Oh.
It was great. Anytime she can get hit in the head, I'm a fan. So the tension you named was the what? What'd you say?
The friendship thing.
Yeah, so it was how did faith help us work through that difference?
I mean, I feel like
my sister remembers that.
Just having faith in each other, honestly. Like if we're connecting on all these other levels and we have this thing going on, like.
Well, and that comes from our faith in God too.
Yeah.
Us seeing our faith in God and each other, which this podcast wasn't going to be so heavily faith-based. But
my friends are probably watching this going, what the heck? This is not the Nicole that I know.
Well, I'm glad it is like this, but I mean, I'm fine with it working out like this, and there's like scripture in this.
It's scripture thing. That was a lot.
But yeah, us seeing our faith in each other, like our faith in God independently, helps us in times where we got to have that trust with each other.
Yeah.
Because to do something wrong, I'd be dishonoring you, but I'd also be dishonoring God.
Right.
And you can trust that person on two different levels that way.
And there's just like values like from your upbringing that come along that also come from your faith that are also good things that you just don't lose. And like, I would be faithful to my partner.
Me too. My partner.
He hates that word.
It just sounds like I don't know. You know what it's.
We're not married yet. Fiance. Yeah.
What practical steps did you take to find unity? So, I mean, we've talked about this over in circles. The moral of the story on that is you have faith in each other. You have faith in God, and we just keep trusting in God and trusting in each other. Faith tie-in. This is very heavy. Ephesians 4:2 2 through 3 reminds us to be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing with one another in love. When we remember that we're both products of our past, it becomes easier to show grace. The same grace God shows us daily.
I love that because, like, that's something that I always live by in so many aspects of my life. When I'm doing therapy, when I'm doing my care management, like, I'm always trying to, I don't even have to try to, it's just there. Remembering that people have stuff from their past. These things impact who they are today. And like, that's something that I have to work with them, and sometimes help them kind of see that as well, moving forward with stuff. And I always have patience with people because that's just so important. Like, sometimes that's all people need. This is a little bit of patience, and then they can do great things. Yeah.
I think I'm good as a parent with that. I think in my day-to-day, I hope I'm good in a relationship with that. But I know, like, friends and stuff, giving them grace is probably something I could work on. And maybe parenting as well, but like, I don't have a lot of time for you to sit in your screw up. You know what I mean? Like, let's fix it, move on. And yeah, sometimes maybe I should remind myself that God gives me grace. Good Lord knows. So I have to give others. Parenting is where our past show up the most. We catch ourselves saying things our parents did, sometimes on purpose, sometimes by accident. What's one parenting habit you brought from your childhood that's been positive? Ooh.
Parenting habit brought from childhood that's been positive. I want to say these are things that are so hard for me to answer, because parenting for me in general, like with me and my son, is very different from what you would see as typical parenting.